I am excited because today I have my friend Kevin, whom you probably know as the Basic Filmmaker. Kevin has an illustrious history. We're going to probably get into that a little bit while we talk here, but you can hear him laughing.
Illustrious. Illustrious. Okay.
All right,
Illustrious.
we're gonna run it through. It's going to be just a conversation, but I do have a couple of questions that I'm very curious about, and where I want to start. So the Basic Filmmaker YouTube channel, fantastic resource. If I want to learn how to start making video and films, awesome place to go. But here's my question. So Kevin, did you go to film school? And either way, do you suggest it for someone who wants to become a filmmaker or a video maker?
Thank you, by the way. I didn't know I was illustrious. I'm illustrious. I'm going to go to my wife and go, hey, treat me nice. I'm illustrious. Film school. I did not go to film school. You could say I was self-taught, but you got to realize if you didn't notice by the gray hairs, I'm not 20. There was no internet. There were no digital cameras. And I just happened to fall into, while I was pursuing a lot of different careers at the time, I happened to fall into some really cool people, some very nice people who were willing to train me and bring me on sets and show me things and show me how to do things. And that's how I learned filmmaking, because I had mentors who were just awesome, and they took the time to describe all this to me and let me do this stuff. It's nothing more than that. It was just learned by hands-on experience and people who were really smart and really kind to impart information to me. Would I recommend film school? I think it's good for some. I think some need a concentrated learning environment. They have to show up at this time. They have to do certain lessons. They have to gain certain knowledge about things. And I think some people need a rigid format to do it. Like, I liken it to people who need to work at a workplace and people who can work at home. Some people can't work at home. They don't have enough discipline to work at home. They screw around too much, or they go the other way and they work 24 hours a day versus that rigid workplace where you know you're going to show up at 8 in the morning, you know you're just going to leave at 5, you know you're going to do all that. Film school's like that, where it gives you that rigid environment. It gives you the discipline you need. Some people already have that. Some people are disciplined enough to invest the time, and there's a lot of time. I mean, if you look at it, if you're going to go to 4 years of film school, you could cut that back, but basically 4 years of film school is going to be more or less 12 hours a day, 16 hours a day. You're going to eat, breathe this stuff. It's the same if you don't go to film school. You're going to spend 12 hours a day breathing this stuff for 4 years, or you're not going to do that. It'll take you 10 years. So I hate the it depends answer, but it would depend on the person. I think everybody knows. I think the thing you get from film school is you get contacts, you get connections. I didn't go to film school because I already had connections. If I didn't have connections, I probably would have went to film school. Yeah. Did I answer your question?
You absolutely answered my question. That is brilliant.
Okay.
So you did that for a number of years. Now, let's talk about your YouTube channel. Why start a YouTube channel? What kind of drove you to do that? What's the motivation for you? What? Is that a bad question?
No. I'm laughing at myself.
Oh, okay. And that's
see if I can keep...
that's actually one thing that I really appreciate about you is you are very good at laughing at yourself.
Oh, I do that a lot. I'll see if I can keep this story short. It's a long story. I'll see if I can keep it short. So, so here I go. 7 years ago, 7 years ago. Now I have experience with cameras and crews and stuff and lighting, and guys come in and they set up sound and lights and practicals and do this and sets and things, and you're doing commercials and you're you have a plan and there's all these people to do things, and I get to come in and I got known for coming in going, okay, we're going to do this and this and this. We're going to get it done. And here's the thing. We're going to get this done. I was like the guy who got things done and made it happen. And at one point, I wanted to get out of that. I did not like the travel. I did not like having to have a client. It was just too much for me. And I went, you know what? I want to chill. I want to do something different. What I really want to do is it sounds kind of sappy. I wanted to kind of pay it forward. I had all these people who helped me with a marvelous career. How can I pay this forward to other people? I didn't want to start a film school. So I said to myself, and I did a lot of research. I looked around. I looked at Film Riot. I looked at a bunch of different people. I may even looked at yours, and I went, this is really cool, this YouTube mechanism. I could impart data to people that may want to learn. So why don't I just step out from behind the camera and do a YouTube channel? Because how hard could it be? So now realize I step behind the camera. I call my brother and I'm like, hey, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. This can't be hard, right? Nope. So I get my hands on a DSLR camera, which I've never had my hands on before. This was 7 years ago, and I was like, I didn't deal with that stuff. Got my hands on a DSLR camera. I get this thing. It has no lens. I'm like, WTF. I get a lens. It has no aperture ring on it. What is this little tiny SD? The aperture and it's digital app. Like, where's the? I just flipped out and I was like, okay, whatever. Set up the camera. I can do this. And I stepped from behind the camera and I stepped in front of the lens and I was like, this cannot be hard. And I absolutely sucked at being on camera. I sucked at using the camera. I sucked at sound. I sucked at audio. I sucked at lighting. I sucked at everything that could possibly, whatever you could suck at, I sucked at it. Maybe I'm a little hard on myself, but from where I came to what I was looking at, it was terrible.
Yeah.
I keep those. Just go back and watch my first videos, or don't. They're cringy. And they're cringy because I walked into this going with that attitude, I already know all about this. And that killed me off. So then I got pissed off and went, no way. I'm going to win at this. Okay, so then I went along and decided I was going to create a YouTube channel. Underneath this whole thing and this whole story, to answer your question, I have lived, breathed, and eaten the basics of things since I was probably 18 years old. Because I know, and I have proven time again, I don't mean to lecture here, I've proven time again, if I take someone who doesn't understand something, they're confused about something, they don't get it, I can take it and I can strip off all the stuff and get to the basics. We can go over the basics. They understand the foundational items. Then they can learn all the other stuff. And I knew this, and I prove it every day. So I went down this road of going, I'm going to do that because I'm passionate about teaching people. I'm passionate about filmmaking. I'm passionate about videos. I'm going to win at this, and I'm going to teach people the basics because there's always new people. The new people now that are watching my channel are not the same new people that are watching 7 years ago. So they always need to know these basics and the foundation of this stuff. So I did that, started the YouTube channel. It sucked, and just worked it up to a point where I think now, to a degree, I understand how this all works as far as presenting and being on camera. For instance, rule number 1, when you get in front of the camera, don't act. Don't act.
Okay.
If you're not an actor, don't act. This is not an act. This is how I am. You just ask my wife. She'll be like, yeah, he's like that. But the point being, I got really passionate about training and teaching people and paying it forward. So I started the YouTube channel. That went through 7 years. That's where it's at now. I'm still passionate about that. And I still believe that if you have the foundational concepts, the basics, understandings of a thing, then you can build upon that. And if you don't, you can't. There's my story.
Absolutely. That's great because I think you're absolutely right. If somebody can get the fundamentals rock solid, then they're off to the races. They can figure a bunch of stuff out from there. So I really appreciate that. So I'm taking the next question a completely different direction. Are you ready for this? Are you?
Sure.
Okay.
I'm like, wait a second, let me put my armor on.
No. It's nothing like that. So here's a question that you've probably gotten 1,000 times. Maybe not. I don't know. But if I'm going to go into filmmaking, should I get a Mac or should I get a PC?
That's a good question.
Well, let's start with this. What do you have?
How much time do we have? I'm
No.
trying to figure out how much time we have for my rant that I'm going to currently go on.
Oh
As a
boy.
rant.
Okay. Well, let's start with this then. What do you use?
I currently use a Windows PC.
Okay.
Here's my answer. Should I use a Mac or PC? Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Should you use Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, iMovie, Hit Film, Sony Vegas, DaVinci Resolve? Yes. Should you use Canon, Nikon, a Sony? Yes. Should you use your phone, an iPad, or an Android? Yes. Those are my answers. I have this. I get on this little rant. I don't want to get on a rant, but I get on this little rant because it's almost like I'm watching the best. I mean, life is the best TV show. There's no better TV show than life. If you're willing to step back and watch it, I don't mean like spectate it, but actually watch it and get engaged, it's the best TV show ever. It befuddles my mind to watch two people sit there and argue over whether a Mac or a Windows PC is better, or an iPhone or an Android is better, or you use DaVinci, you should use DaVinci Resolve and switch from Premiere. No. Or you're using DaVinci. I think you edit in Final Cut Pro, right?
I do
Yeah,
most of the time.
Pro.
Yep.
And you're an Apple guy. You should use Premiere Pro. Shut up. Like, here's a guy, and I'm pointing at you. Here's a guy, like, pretend your head's here. Here's a guy, Curtis Judd, who uses a certain type of cameras and lights and audio and a computer and a phone and everything else, and he produces great content. We're kind of done.
Okay.
I think more time is wasted battling over what people use and what they do instead of, I just want to look at people and go, just get to work. Come on. I mean, we could sit here and have this battle over me using Windows and you using Apple. I don't care. You produce great content. If you're in the higher leagues, like these directors and people do not get together and go, well, I used Area Alexa for mine. What did you use? Oh, you used a Red Epic. Well, what's the matter with you? Those conversations don't occur.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
So that.
Oh yeah.
See, I'm ranting now. See?
Yeah.
I'm ranting.
So what you're saying then is you're saying that it's really about the quality of the content. It's about the story. It's about the value of what you're doing. If it's an educational piece, does it help somebody learn fundamentals, so on and so forth?
Yeah. In fact, I'm going to even go baser than that. Baser. Does that? No, that doesn't mean okay. I'm going to go more basic than that. I think I used the wrong term. Here's what I think of people and filmmakers. If you have an iPhone 3, I'm not even sure if they work anymore, and it has a video camera on it, and you had an idea, and you went out and shot some video on it, and you took it and edited it together with iMovie version 0.5, and you posted it on YouTube for others to see, you are the man or the woman. You are awesome. You had the guts and the fortitude to go out and take an idea that didn't exist, breathe life into it, and put it on YouTube. That's step one. If you can do that, who gives a crap what camera or software you use? It's almost like you get caught up in the software and what you're using and the tools and the this, and you have this camera. No, I'm using a Canon, but you should use a Sony. It's a camcorder. You get caught up in all this, and you're doing this instead of creating. Mm-hmm. So do you want to create? Go create. You want to get caught up in the tools and have arguments? You're not creating. That's my viewpoint. I mean, I don't even like arguing. My philosophy on arguments is the only thing arguments do is it makes this person who's arguing about a subject makes what this person believes more firmer, and this person makes more firmer. It never changes their mind. You've never argued someone out of their opinions.
Yeah.
So that whole thing seems like a complete waste of time to me. It disheartens me when I see good creative people get into that. I mean, as filmmakers and video producers, go watch people who do paintings. They don't go, well, oh, you're using a NiCad 4B brush? I don't use those. I use the Infinity SB7 hairbrush. They don't do that. I find it stupid. Not that the people are stupid. I find the action stupid. See, I ranted.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. That's perfect because we all need a dose of tough love every once in a while. So thank you for that. So the next oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I just said yes.
Yep.
Okay.
You got it.
I'm trying to get the embarrassment red face of ranting out of my skin.
Okay, good. Well, let me ask this. So you've been doing the YouTube channel for a while now. What kind of keeps you going, or what excites you about doing that work? Because you have a day job where you're still, doing what you do during the day, but it's at night that you work on, and on the weekends when you work on your YouTube channel. So what is it that keeps you going? Coffee?
This makes coffee keeps me going. Yeah, I mean, I could ask you the same question, and I bet I get the same answer. Yeah, I have a day job now. I got out all that other stuff, and now I'm helping a company create their own university, which I kind of know how to do. So yeah, 5 days a week from 7:30 or 7:45 when I show up till 5 or 6 at night. 5 days a week at least I'm working. So yeah, it's nights and weekends for me. Why would you do that? I am so passionate about helping people do something better, and I don't care what it is. I am so passionate about, think about this. It sounds like a brag, and I don't mean it to be a brag, but I have answered, I keep a tally between YouTube and my various social medias and my emails I get. I have answered 25,000 people over the past 7 years. Their questions.
Wow.
That's a lot, but I love communicating with people. Some of these comments, like you don't know what it means to me when a person leaves a comment and goes, hey, thanks. I didn't know about, I didn't really get what a timeline was on a video. I really appreciate it. That helps me a lot. On this end, it like melts my heart. I'm like, yes, because I just helped someone. I increased their understanding. They were able to do more. I mean, I've had a couple of people, this doesn't happen all the time. One person after like 6 months went, I watched every single video you got. I had no experience in doing this. And after 6 months, I was able to, I think he said, wheedle or needle his way into Verizon and get a job doing what I love, creating videos in their video department.
Wow.
You helped start a guy's career from nothing.
Yeah.
For me, that's the payback. That's like the payback for all the people who helped me. They didn't need to. They didn't have to. I didn't pay them. For me, I am so passionate about helping people and teaching people and being kind. People need a kind word. They need a place to come and say, hey, I have this microphone that I just got, and it has these 3 little things on the back of it. What are those? And when I get a question like that, I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I go, oh, well, this is a cable. It's a special kind of cable. It's an XLR cable. And the reason, and I go into it and I explain it, and they're like, oh, I never asked that. I was afraid I was going to, like, people were going to laugh at me, and I got it. And then this person goes on, they understand this, and then they're able to use the microphone, which means they're able to sound, and then they're able to do their YouTube channel. They're able to achieve their goals. That, to me, if I could do that, and if I could have a self-sustaining income somehow from some rich uncle that I don't have, and just do that all the time, I would be the happiest man that ever lived.
Okay. Well, you in that same vein, you recently started a new YouTube channel. So if you weren't crazy enough already, working in what little spare time you have, producing videos for your YouTube channel, you now started a second YouTube channel called Basic Filmmaker Unscripted.
Correct.
What in the world
Now,
were you what in the world were you thinking, and why did you do that?
well, let me just say this. I know you're interviewing me. This comes from the guy who runs a YouTube channel with over 100,000 people, a second YouTube channel about audio with over 10,000 people, an online school with God knows how many are there, courses over at my university, podcasts. I follow you around. I'm creeping, dude. And takes time out to interview jamokes like me. This coming from that guy. What were you thinking? I was thinking, if you can do it, so can I. I have the YouTube channel. It has a certain thing. It's a little more scripted, although I don't use scripts. It's a little more talking to these people. It's a little more, I'm doing a product review. It's a little more training. It's a little more that. I wanted, especially for the people over at Basic Filmmaker University, it was kind of started for them. I wanted a place where I could just come in, sit down, have people ask me questions. I could just talk. And it's really fun. I didn't mean to do this, but it's things that wouldn't fit on my YouTube channel. The last live one I did on my scripted channel, I just went into, hey, it's great that people want to learn. It's great that there's a educational system out there and everything else, but you know what? There's a way to study, and here are all the ways you study. And the thing went on for 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was so engaged, and so were the people in doing this. But it gives me a place where I can just let my hair down and talk about stuff that there's a lot of things that people are interested in. They ask me, and it's not really appropriate on my other YouTube channel, because my other YouTube channel, the audience is, hey, give us some tips, give us some tricks, review a product you like, show us something in Premiere, show us something on a camera, what's a new thing, how do I do my lighting, do you have some tips for green screen? It's all kind of that. The other channel is just, it's just kind of the Wild West. I would have no problem sitting there and talking about what kind of coffee I drink and what stuff like that with these people, because they're asking me and they want to know, and they're asking me a question. But generally, it's a place where I can interact with people live. They can ask me questions beforehand, and it really is to support the university students, the Basic Filmmaker University students, but anybody's welcome. Plus, at the top of the list was, well, you have a second channel, so can I. That's really why.
I didn't realize you were so competitive. That's really interesting. Okay.
I am purposefully not trying to be competitive with you because I have a feeling I will lose.
No.
You're like I really like sometime I am actually going to come out to your place if I can get myself invited for a day or two. I'm going to sit down with you and just go, what alternate time dimension do you live in to be able to get all the stuff done you do? I don't understand it. In fact, on your other channel, the audio channel, I want to hear it. I want you to do a whole episode just for me because I'm entitled, I'm joking, about how you manage your time. I think it would be beneficial. You do a lot.
Well, I do, but the main thing I do is I watched this video from this guy once. It was I think it was like how to punch time in the nose and get a lot of crap done. I think that's what it was called. Does that sound right? Have you ever heard of this?
That was awesome. I almost had coffee come out my nose.
I actually think that what's interesting, you bring up a very good point, because I think what's interesting is that there comes a point, well, a couple things. Let's just review. You've had some really interesting insights that I want to kind of underscore a few of those at this point where we're at right now. Number one, you said earlier on that, first of all, what the big driver for you is being able to help other people. Totally get that. Totally what keeps me going as well. You talked about the basics. Then we started talking about time management a little bit. And one of the themes, I think that one of the things that everyone that I've known that has this like side hustle of any sort, doesn't matter what the side hustle is, whether it's creating YouTube videos or something, it doesn't matter what it is, they come to this point where they start to care a whole lot more about the process, and they have to care about how things work with the process. And I think that's what, I think you've been through that is my sense. I think I've been through that and continually going through it. And I think that's part of what it is, like learning how to become more efficient with your time.
That's a really good point, Curtis. I mean, and I am going through that right now. I mean, again, I love helping people, and I really want to help this company with what they're doing, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be doing it. That may sound snarky, but I promise you, if you get out of the game of doing it because you have to and you do the things you want to do, practically, you're going to be a much happier person. That being said, there comes a point where, okay, I'm going to post a video every week. I'm going to handle the other channel. I'm going to handle the, how do I do this? Script, shoot, edit, color correct, effect, title, and post a video every week on a part-time basis, answer hundreds of comments, answers hundreds of emails, deal with companies and vendors, make sure I'm creating content and taking care of the students over at Basic Filmmaker University, creating more courses, which I'm trying to deal with right now and haven't done, create my, and maintain the people over at the Basic Filmmaker University page, which there are hundreds of, do these reviews, and you just keep going on, and there's all these things going on, and there's all these confusions going on, and at some point, if you're going to move forward, as you're pointing out, and this is brilliant, you have to get your wits wrapped around two things. One, you need to figure out how to manage your time better. And two, you kind of need to lighten up. I don't, you've never even told me a story like this, but I bet you that there has been a time, or is a time, or has been a time in the past couple of years where you were frantic over videos and reviews and the number of crap you have to view and your time. And I believe you have a family there with you. So that's, where you've gotten frantic and into this like, and at some point you just went, geez, chill, dude. I bet you that happened to you at some point. Or some type of thing.
For sure.
It's just going to happen. If that doesn't happen and you don't care, I don't think you move along. And like me, I compress time and I do this and I spend time over here and I carve out this and I carve out that. And I go, okay, I can make this video, but I want to make better quality in less time. There's a reason why I bought certain equipment. It wasn't because of the money or because it's cool gear. It's because it saves me time. And you keep massaging this molding this clay ball of time into something you want, but it's not an end game where you go, okay, I'm good. I think we're just going to keep doing that.
Yeah.
I look at someone like, these hired, like Film Rat. I look at these guys. He's got 4 people. And I bet you he's had the same problem over and over.
That's why he has 4
Good
people.
one, time management.
Yeah.
That's why he has 4 people.
What would be your advice to someone who wants to become a filmmaker? We talked a little bit about film school earlier, but what do you think is the most effective way for most people to get there, to become it doesn't have to be a professional filmmaker, but something that they can reach a goal, whether that's having their own YouTube channel, whether it's creating short narrative films, feature-length narrative films that are just passion projects, or even working professionally as a filmmaker. What's your advice?
Start small to begin with. I've seen a lot of people. I shouldn't say a lot. I've seen a handful of people where they're what they want to do is awesome, but they don't know what they don't know, and they end up spending a lot of money and time and everything else, investing their soul into this passion project that usually doesn't come out. If you're really into filmmaking or having a YouTube channel or making a film or making a short film or doing commercials or doing voiceover for a living or playing bass guitar on a channel or whatever your passion thing is, I think you should just start. If you want to go make a short 2-minute movie about some idea you have, then go grab your iPhone and go shoot the damn thing using people or yourself or whatever, and then post it on YouTube and let everybody go, oh, yeah, and ignore it and go shoot another one. If you shot it and it looks like that and you posted it, well done. Next time you shoot it and you look at it, you're like, wow, maybe I shouldn't do that. And now it looks like this. Well done. And next time you shoot it, the camera's actually almost stable that you're holding your phone in. Well done. You're learning. Go. Keep going. Keep learning. That's my advice. Just go do it. I don't want to say don't go after your passion project, but I don't think... This is a hard one for me because I don't want to disappoint people on their goals and dreams. I don't, this adage of, well, you got to learn how to ride a bike. You got to learn how to pedal before you ride, or whatever that saying is. I don't know. Some people jump on a bike and ride it. That's cool. Do it. I think you should just, if you're that passionate about it this way in your creation, I think you should be as passionate about learning about it too. I think you should be eating, breathing, and sleeping every piece of valid information you can get on doing this, but don't get caught over there. And I also think that you should just go out and do whatever you want to do because you're going to learn something. I don't care if you're filming ants, but don't be stuck in both. Learn, do, and just continue to do that. And you're going to end up at a point, either what you wanted to do, or you're probably going to come up with new things and go, wow, I didn't even know I could do that. I think it's just go do it. Mm-hmm. Just go do it. And if it's a hobby, then fine. It's a hobby. Excuse me. And oh, by the way, just because something's a hobby doesn't mean you can't be a professional at it. Just saying.
Good. Get out there and do it. Find a balance between learning and doing. Practice and learning. Practice and learning. Practice and learning. And I think you're right.
Absolutely.
One of those things that you mentioned earlier that really struck me as well was when you said, when I started my YouTube channel, go back and look at some of my first episodes, and then you said, no, don't look at my early episodes. I think that there's a lesson there as well. We have to start. You just have to do it. And yes, you're going to get criticism. You're going to get haters. There are going to be internet trolls out there making fun of your stuff. But the interesting thing is that most of those trolls, in my experience, most of those trolls aren't creating anything themselves. They're just out there trolling other people. So
Absolutely.
you're already several steps ahead of them. So don't let them get you down. Don't let them hold you back, because you've probably gotten troll comments before. I know I sure have. So.
Oh yeah, it took me a while to learn. I mean, when I was first getting some troll comments and I got engaged to them, it was like, oh man. But then I took a look. I mean, well, I think everybody knows I'm not 22 years old. So I do have some life experience. I'm 23. Actually, my wife has never upgraded me past 15 years old. Okay, there's a world full of people. I'll try and make this short. This is my thing because I've been around the world and I know people from around the world. There's a world full of people. And then there's a news media that constantly batters you on how terrible it is. And then you have other people constantly taking that news and batter how terrible people are and everyone's out to get you and blah, blah, blah. Excuse my language, I call bullshit. 80% of the people across this planet want to do this. They want to raise their children. They want to have a good life. They want to do a good job. They want to get paid well. They want to go along. And 20% make all the freaking noise. All the crap you hear comes from the 20%. You don't have laws in place not to murder people because you and I will murder people. That's for people who murder people. And they're a small percentage, but they make all the noise. When you are an artist and you make anything and you put it out there, the people just, whether you believe this or not, this is my thing. The people who can't create something, in other words, they're constantly into tearing things down and people down, will attack you. The reason why they attack you is because they can't create something. And laugh, ignore them, feel sorry for them. Wow, that sucks that, I feel sorry for these guys. I feel sorry for you with it. You have such a terrible freaking life that you're going to take out time and sit there and hound someone on their YouTube channel and talk to them in such a manner. What a terrible life this person must have. It's a shame. So you're going to run into that as a creative, and you either got to build a tough skin and not turn into an icky, angry person, or you just let it go right through. I mean, you paint a painting, you hang it up on the wall, and on YouTube, it's like, here you are, and you're at your downtown whatever, and you hang one of your paintings on the wall and all in a restaurant for sale. And YouTube's like having a bunch of people come in and sit down at a restaurant, and all they do is talk about, that's the stupidest painting ever. I hate that painting. That's a dumb painting. That's a painting. Yeah, that painting looks stupid. I would never color it that way. That's kind of what it's like. So why would you even ignore them? Yeah. It's a small percentage of people that make all the noise, so why listen to them? That's kind of my viewpoint on that. I have played with them. I've tried to teach them. I've tried to wind them down a road of understanding. I've tried to give them an out. I've tried all sorts of things. The thing that's worked the best for me currently that I landed on was I either ignore them or somebody goes, you're stupid. Why did you make this video? Your wife is an ugly bitch and I hate you. And I'm like, I don't even know my wife. Here's what I do. Reply, LMAO, exclaim, reply. Laughing my butt off. Or LOL. And they never comment back.
Yeah.
Because they want to create an effect on you,
Yeah. They want to get a reaction out of you.
They want to engage you and get a reaction out of you. That's the game they're playing. I mean, Everybody has their game. Their game is, I want to upset somebody and get a reaction out of you. Score me 1 point. It's a sad game, but why play?
Yeah, exactly. Let them go. Okay. All right. Last question. Whoa. And yep, it's the last question. I'm sorry, but good things come to an end. But you have Basic Filmmaker University. You have 2 YouTube channels. You have a day job. You have a family. What's your end game with all this?
Here would be my ideal scene, my ideal picture. If I could paint where I'm headed, what I want to do is I want to be able to do enough courses at my university that are affordable for enough people where I could possibly move it over to a subscription, low-cost subscription method to where I'm making enough money to support myself and my family and my YouTube channel and both my YouTube channels and all the things I'm into. So I can just do that, teach people, and have them learn things, start careers, get better at what they're doing, and answer their questions till the day I die. I would be happy.
Excellent.
My tombstone, if my tombstone said he helped people, I'd be okay. Now, as you know, I'm sorry, folks. This whole being broke thing, you're an enemy of the world if you make money doing stuff, is just a pile of crap. I mean, grow up and look around you. You need money to eat, money for lights, money for electricity, money to get around, money to support your family, money to send your kids to school, money, 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 money. It isn't all about the money. But come on, guys. You gotta make money. And if you can't make money, then get your head out of wherever it is and wake up. You're going to have to make money. So go do something you enjoy to make money. People who make money on YouTube or people who make money doing this full time to deliver you content, I'm not pissed about this. I'm not upset with these people. They just don't understand. These people who are delivering you content like Curtis for free, he has a course over there. He's got some course on the mixpre 3. Well, I don't have a mixpre 3. Go buy it. Support them. It helps. The more you support these people who are giving you this free education, if you like them and if it's valuable, the more you support them, the more they can do it. The more people that support those people, the more they can do it. I would do this from 8 a.m. in the morning till midnight, 7 days a week. If I could. The problem is currently I can't afford to do that financially. And I'm always trying to figure out how to do that financially so I can do the purpose of what I want to do, which is to help people and still eat and keep the lights on. That's my game. And to have more subscribers than Curtis Judd.
Well, there we have it, people. That is nothing but wisdom coming out of the mouth of Kevin, whom you know as the Basic Filmmaker. Kevin, thank you so much with the generosity of spending your evening with us. It's been...
Thanks for taking the time. I mean, thank you. I so appreciate that, what you do for people and your knowledge. And I mean, look at me. You know, I when I was at NAB, I was joking around with Curtis. I wish I would have paid more attention on the stuff I used to do, because I walked into this dome. I wish I would have paid more attention to the sound guys and the audio guys and the camera guys and the set guys and what they were constructing, because I didn't really learn because I was just doing my thing. You look at someone like Curtis, he is the reason my audio sounds good. Period.
Actually, that I do have one more question. I'm sorry, people. This is not over yet. There is one more question.
Oh, damn it. Pressing question.
No, this is it. This is it.
Are you wearing
I'm
pants?
curious.
I am.
No, it's not that. I don't care about that. What I care about is you, and again, I don't want this to turn into a Mac versus PC thing, but I'm curious. You used to record with a Zoom H6 recorder, which is a great recorder. It's about a $350 recorder. It has, I can't remember if it has four XLR inputs plus a 3.5. Anyway, whatever. Pretty good recorder. And recently you went out and bought a Sound Devices mixpre 3, actually two of them. And let's not go into the reason for two of them, but let me ask you this. Was that a worthwhile investment, and why?
It falls under the you don't know what you don't know. I went to NAB. I checked out the mixpre 3. I checked out the Zoom products. I had a Zoom H6. I have a Zoom H4n Pro. I have a Zoom H4. I have 4 H1s. I got recorders coming out everywhere. And I did a lot of research on this. got a lot of valuable information from Mr. Judd, got with them, and it got to the point where when I reviewed this and listened to it and heard the quality of what I was getting that I could deliver to my viewers, I was done. And what I mean by done is this microphone for casting, I'm done. I don't have to think about it anymore. I don't have to think about recorders anymore. And the reason why I bought it and why I purchased that is because, A, Curtis is a good guy, and he really didn't try and sell me on this, but he gave me enough information for me to make a sound decision. B, I'm not going to need to buy another audio recorder for the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. I've already spent 5 times as much on audio recorders on that. C, really importantly, it gives me clean sound so I can deliver courses and things and do the things I want to do for my viewers, but it takes out a whole thing. I don't have to worry about my audio recording, how clean it is, whether it's going to work or not anymore. And I always worried about sound. I always worried about it. The Zoom H6, as good as I thought it was, and I compared it to the mixpre 3, the mixpre 3 blows the H6 out of the water. Can you use an H6? Of course you can. Can you use an H1? Of course you can. Can you use an H4n? Of course you can. Do you want to keep looking at the next best thing? Do you want to keep drooling over stuff? Do you want to keep messing with stuff? Do you want to keep going into your audio editor and trying to mess with the sound levels and doing this and taking out that? I turn on my mixpre 3, I record it, and I'm done. I don't have to do anything to it. Those are kind of all the reasons. There's probably more, but those are kind of the reasons why I went with the mixpre 3. That's an interesting question you asked. Why did you ask me that question?
I asked you that question because I think it's a valuable lesson for people that are in that position. And we've all been in this position where we're drooling over this camera that we don't have. We're drooling over this microphone that we don't have. We're drooling over this light that we don't have. You and I both do a lot of product reviews, and that's part of it's a public service. It's something we're doing because you have enough experience with enough of gimbals or enough lights that you can have you can provide some meaningful insights if you review a new light that you haven't used before because you have experience with all these other lights. But I think the problem is a lot of us get trapped. I think we all at some point get trapped into thinking, oh, well, I have this $250 recorder and I can scrape together $350 and get this new recorder that's supposed to be better. So I'm going to do that. And we do this for 10 years. And by the end of that 10 years, we've spent $4,000 on recorders when we could have just said, you know what, just keep creating with my $250 recorder and be stashing some money away. And then when I get to the point where I can afford that $600 recorder that I know is going to solve this, and this problem because I watched Kevin, the Basic Filmmakers review on this, just wait until that point. Quit wasting your time. In the meantime, you can be making a bunch of great content. And I think that's something that we all struggle with.
There's some laudability, there's some credibility to knowing this, walking in knowing this. If you're like, I got to buy another recorder, just stop. If you walk in knowing, look, I'm going to buy a Zoom H1 for $78, and I'm going to use that. And now I'm going to buy the next one, and I'm going to buy the next one, and I'm going to buy the next one. And I know I'm going to spend the money, and I know I'm upgrading as I go along, and I know in the end I'm going to spend more money, and I know at some point I'm going to have what I want. If you walk in knowing that, then do it. Do it that way. You'll learn a lot. You'll definitely learn how to control and denoise things. You'll definitely learn on a Zoom H1, you'll definitely learn that there's certain things that happen to the audio that you can't control with that type of recorder. And you are going to get noise no matter what you do. Well, how do you fix that? How do you do it? Do you care about it? So there is some truth to going through and buying the next thing and buying the next thing, as long as you walk in and you know that's the game you're playing.
Hmm.
If you don't want to play that game, hell yeah. Don't go out and buy the $150 DSLR that isn't really going to work and you don't really like it. And then you need a lens, but then you need a $300 and then $500 and but now you're going to do 4K. Now you're going to, and you spent $5,000 on stuff.
Hmm.
Go take your phone and make videos.
Yeah.
And what you could learn just off of making videos with your phone alone, if you could make a semi-decent video with good sound and good video on your phone, you're ahead of a lot of people that have tens of thousands of dollars of equipment. So if you know what you're doing or where you're going, your point is valid. Why spend all that money? I think it's, you don't know what you don't know. I think you buy something and it's better, and then you see something better and you buy something and it's better. And I think you're always trying to up your game, and that's laudable. If you know you're going to play that game, then go play that game. Personally, it's kind of unfair, but it is kind of fair to say if you had to go back in time and do it again, absolutely. Like, I'm going to be doing a studio walkthrough fairly shortly here that I've been working on way too many months, where I'm going to go through, and I'm not showing off my studio. I'm going to go through and show you what I currently have. It was about 3 or 4, no, 5, no, 6. I can count. I think I got on a tear about 6 months ago where I went, that's it. I am going to buy the best podcasting live microphone, the Shure SM7B, which Curtis has the same one. He actually suggested I check into it, that I know that works with my voice. I'm buying that. I'm going to buy a computer that I want and works for me. I'm going to buy a screen that saves me time and works for me. I'm going to have a light and a B-roll table, and I want that light, and I want these particular lights, and I want that backdrop, and I want that camera for a certain thing. And I went out and just when I'm done, and I just went out and bought the things that I spent some coin, but I bought the things that I went, cool. It was freeing for me because I don't have a bunch of stuff. What I have is I have all my tools. They all work to the best of their ability. That recorder records what I want it to record, and I don't have to mess with it. That camera does what it's supposed to do. That light does what it's supposed to do. I can come in and I can put all my attention on producing the things I want to do. I'm not looking for another recorder. I have no desire. Oh, you got the new Zoom and it does. I don't care. I don't care. Oh, well, you can get a better podcast. I don't care. I'm done. So my attention and what I'm embroiled in all came off of that. And I was like, wow, I now have the freedom to create using the tools that I have. If you're able to do that, man, do your research and go that way. I think that's what you were implying, Curtis, but
Yeah, I think that's part of it. I think another part of it too, though, is one of the dangers of doing the frequent upgrade game, whether it's cameras, audio recorders, microphones, whatever it is. I think there's a lot of value in sticking with one of them for a period of time where you can learn to get the best results out of that particular piece of gear. So, for example, cameras, there are a ton of people that go out and buy, oh, there's the new Panasonic, blah, blah, blah. There's the new, whatever it is. We see all these trends, and new cameras are coming out all the time. I recently went and sold one of my cameras because I realized, you know what? I'm not using it. It's just sitting
the
there.
Ursa, right? You sold
Yeah.
the Ursa.
Yeah, I sold the Blackmagic Ursa Mini Pro. I wasn't using it, and my experience has been is that when you have too many choices to choose from when it comes to getting something done. So if I'm going to shoot a video, which camera do I use? Do I use the Panasonic GH5? Do I use the GH5S? Do I use the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K? Do I use the Ursa Mini Pro? Do I use the Nikon Z6? That becomes a barrier to getting stuff done and producing something of quality and of value.
That's right.
And so for me, it was like, you know what? It's actually a good thing to have some limitations, to not have all the gear in the world, because what that does is it helps you do a couple things. Number one, focus. There's certain decisions you don't even have to make because you don't have that option to make. And number two, if you are working with what you might consider a suboptimal piece of gear, the value that provides you, and I've experienced this, is that it puts me in a position where I need to learn how to optimize the settings, for example, in a camera. How do I get the best color out of that camera? I might have to do some things with my lights. I might need to change some of the settings. I might need to try this. I might need to try that. But if I've got 5 cameras to choose from, and I don't have enough time to actually kind of dial in the particular look I want with that one camera because I'm always choosing amongst 5 different cameras. So I think there's some value and there's a benefit in some ways of not having too many options because it helps you focus. And
I think you're right. It actually, I have a garage full of stuff that I don't want and I got out of here. To Curtis's point, when you have too many choices of the things you have and you add to it too many choices of all the things you want, what you enter in is less production and confusion.
mm-hmm.
In my opinion, it's just confusion. It's okay. I'm going to go. I'm not a professional bass player, but I have 10 different bass guitars on my wall, and I want to play. Well, I could play that one, but maybe I should play that one. But I should do that. But I could do that one using this amp over here. But maybe I should just pick the freaking thing up and play it. If I had one, I don't have a choice, and I have to work getting the sound I want to the best of my ability out of that bass guitar. The same with the camera. I still shoot with a Canon 5D Mark III 1080 camera for my main videos. And I have squeezed every inch of everything out of there. I have never had someone come in the past, I don't know how many years, go, well, your videos don't look good. What camera are you shooting with? No one's ever asked me that. I shoot in 1080 on that camera. It's a great camera if you set it up right. And I've learned how to dial it in. Hell, I take that camera, that 5D Mark III, you'll notice on my videos recently are in 4K. And they look great. They're not shot in 4K. How do you do that? Well, there is a way to do that, and there is a way to make that happen. I'm still squeezing every inch out of that camera. And to Curtis's point, when I had my Zoom H1, and that's all I had, I squeezed the blood out of these things. I did. I could see it in you, Curtis. You have so many. You're a professional sound guy, so I might be talking out of turn, but you might be able to look at your recorders and go, that one for that job. For me personally, if I had the recorders you had, all the recorders you had, I would just look at it and go, I don't know. I don't know. It would be a confusion for me. I wouldn't get anything done.
Yeah. I think that's a great point that you had there with the Zoom H1. And that was my first recorder too. I love that thing. Not because it's the best recorder in the world. It's not. But because it taught me so many things. And I think that's what a lot of us need to learn is that you don't necessarily need that next camera. You need to work with what you've got and get the best you can out of what you've got.
Yeah, I got to admit, I do check people out, and that's going to sound a little creepy, but it's not meant to be creepy. Sounds creepy. Like someone will come to me and they'll go, hey, I want a new camera because I'm just not, getting what I want out of my camera and everything else. And I'm like, okay, I understand. And the first thing I end up doing when they leave a comment is I go look at their YouTube channel or where their video is, and I look at what they shot. And my first impression, all I have is a old T3i with a 24-105 lens on it, and I just can't get it. So what I really want to buy is I really want to buy a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 4K. I go look at their video and I look at it. There is no freaking way they still have 80% that they could bleed out of that camera to make that video better. They're, it's almost like, here's the lie, I think. I don't mean lie like someone's lying to him, but here's the, what do you call it when you're chasing this golden ring or whatever? I'm not willing to delve into that camera and understand it and squeeze all the blood out of it. It's much easier for me to just buy a new one.
Mm-hmm.
But then you end up with the same thing, not understanding 80% of the camera. So the cycle never ends, and you never end up getting good. You end up getting disappointed. Where if you took that camera you have in your hands and you played with it and slept with it, and the lens, and you cleaned the freaking lenses, and you went in and you went, okay, how do I do this? Like, I got a T3i. I mean, this thing, it only shoots for, I can't even get 12 minutes out of this thing. Well, that's cool. How do I shoot like a 30-minute episode using a 12-minute camera? How do you script that? How do you write? How do you cut that? How do you, like, how do I adjust the colors? Hey, could I simulate getting something like log, that gray looking whatever, and color correct it in a T3i? By the way, you almost can. There are tricks you could do with the camera. You're not going to get log footage, but there are tricks you can do with the camera to get more data in there where you can color correct it later. With this old freaking 7-year-old DSLR, hell, learn that, because then when you go to get a new camera, you're going to know exactly what you want and exactly what you need. That's my opinion. I don't know. Yeah. That's my opinion.
Absolutely.
Use the stuff you have.
That's right. Use the stuff you have. Make something cool. Kevin, thank you so much. You've been, as I said before, very generous with your time. Thank you, and I hope we get to talk to you again soon.
You, sir, are just awesome. Thanks for doing this. Thank you.
Pleasure's mine. We'll talk to y'all soon.